After my husband's accident, I was so lonely. He stayed in a room all day and couldn't walk properly. My life had become a barren desert where it hadn't rained for ages. One day, my relative's son, Chirag, came to live with us. I felt good with him around, and my mind was occupied. I would treat him like a child and have him sleep near me. But one day, he brought rain to my desert. Hello friends, welcome to this exciting story. My name is Shika. A month ago, my husband, Rajan, had a serious accident that left him with severe injuries. After the accident, I became completely lonely. He would stay in a room all day and was unable to move around. One day, I was sitting at home when the doorbell rang. I rushed to open the door. Standing before me was a young man, about 18 to 20 years old. He introduced himself from the doorway. He said, "Hello Bobby, my name is Chirag. I am Prakashji's son. Perhaps my dad sent you a message." I immediately remembered Prakashji's message. I said, "Yes, come on in." With that, I stepped aside to let him in. Chirag entered with some hesitation. He said, "Bobby, I just arrived today. I think I last saw you about 8 years ago when I was in school. Your wedding card came to our house, but I had my high school exams then, so I couldn't attend. I've come here for college." He then handed me a bag, saying, "And here, Dad sent this for you." The bag was filled with fresh garden fruits, vegetables, and pickles, and it smelled wonderful. I happily took the bag and offered him some tea and snacks. In the meantime, I insisted, "You should stay right here. I've already told your father that everything will be ready for you. Just focus on your studies." Chirag agreed immediately, as if he had been waiting to hear just that. He quickly went outside, brought in all his luggage, and started arranging his room. In no time, he began to feel at home. But I never imagined he would become so comfortable so quickly. The next day, I introduced Chirag to my husband, Rajan. Chirag was surprised, thinking, "Wow, I didn't hear a single sound from this guy from yesterday afternoon until late last night. I had no idea anyone else besides Bobby lived in this house." I noticed his confusion and said, "The thing is, he had a serious accident and has been bedridden ever since. He usually sleeps all day and stays awake all night. But yesterday, maybe because of the extra medication, he slept all day and all night." Days passed like this. I was so happy with Chirag's arrival. Our quiet house of two now had some life. Chirag was a kind person and started taking good care of me. One day, I was in the kitchen, working and humming a song. Chirag came in and started helping me. I laughed and said, "Chirag, you're just a kid. Your job is to study and only study. Don't do all this." He replied, "Yes, Bobby, studying is my job, but I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a full 20 years old." I looked at him in surprise, and he continued, "Yes, Bobby, I'm in college now. I'm not a child anymore." I was left speechless. One day, in conversation, Chirag asked me about my husband, Rajan. What had happened to him? When and how did the accident happen? I sadly explained, he was perfectly fit before and handled all our business alone. Everything was going well, and we were living happily together. Then one day, on his way home from the factory, he had an accident. Since then, our lives and the state of our home have completely changed. He suffered severe leg injuries. We've tried every treatment, but he still can't walk properly. It takes him 10 minutes to walk just 2 steps. That's why he mostly stays in his room. A physiotherapist comes 3 days a week, and the rest of the time, he watches movies and reads books. The doctor said it will take time, but he'll slowly recover and be able to walk again. Chirag looked at him after hearing this. He knew we had only been married for about 5 years. He said, "Bobby, you've been married for about 5 years, right?" I replied, "Yes, 5 years." He said, "I remember that, Bobby. I had my 10th grade exams then, which is why I couldn't meet you. I think I saw you once when I was in 6th grade. You had come to my dad with some books." I said, "Yes, yes. Your father was my math teacher then, and I had come to return the books because I was starting at a new school." Days went by, and Chirag had been living with us for 4 months. He was in his youth, but he understood that in our quiet life as a married couple, he was the only one bringing a bit of rhythm and melody, besides the physiotherapist. Chirag was constantly trying to get closer to me, and since I hadn't felt any happiness for so long, I was drawn to him too. We would spend a lot of time together after our work was done. We would eat meals together and slowly, we were getting closer. I had started to love him, and I knew he loved me too, because our relationship was blossoming. Days were passing, and the distance between us was shrinking. Now, I liked Chirag's touch. He would playfully touch me here and there, perhaps checking how I would react. Sometimes, thinking about my husband, I would get sad, and my eyes would tear up. At such times, Chirag would comfort me and hug me. We started sleeping together and were lost in each other. One day, Chirag was completely free. He came into the kitchen, humming a song. He quickly covered my eyes and whispered in my ear, "Shika Bobby, I'll do all your work today. You come here and sit down comfortably." He gently sniffed my soft, washed, wet, and fragrant hair and led me to a chair. I was now in a playful mood. I got up from the chair, made him sit down, and sat on his lap myself. We stayed like that for a few moments, neither moving nor speaking. We just felt each other's presence in silence. About 2 minutes passed when we heard a cough. We were both startled. I immediately pulled away from Chirag in a panic. Although Chirag didn't want to let go, he separated from me, smiled, and left the kitchen. He went and sat outside, smiling as he remembered our moments together. I saw all this. I went and sat next to him. I playfully tapped him on one cheek and gave him a sweet kiss on the other before getting up. Chirag said, "Bobby, why the injustice to the other cheek?" He stood up and came to work beside me, touching me again and again. It was as if electricity was running through my body. Only I and my thirsty heart knew how delighted I was by his touch. I had longed for such a wonderful experience. But that morning, Chirag took away all my emptiness. After many months, it had finally rained in my desert, and it poured. We were lying on the bed after our moments together when the coughing sound came again. I took a cup of tea, looked at Chirag lovingly, and left the room to go to my husband's room. Chirag also got dressed and came out to make his own breakfast. I sat with my husband and asked about his health. When I didn't come out of my husband's room for a long time, Chirag started to get restless again. He deliberately began dropping utensils in the kitchen. But I ignored his signal and didn't go to him. I was caressing my husband's palms, but it felt like I was caressing Chirag's palms. I was getting lost in the moments I had spent with Chirag and telling myself that love should enter our lives exactly like this, like a wild stream. A ticklish feeling was spreading inside me. But I was completely unaware that my husband found my behavior very strange. He also felt that I had suddenly become very happy. I didn't even sleep with him anymore. And if I did, I would lie with my back to him. I had become like a new bride, and my attitude and style were surprising my husband. Even Chirag, who used to meet him for just a second sometimes in the beginning, was now pressing his shoulders and offering him tea. One day, I was making tea in the kitchen. Chirag came up behind me, wrapped his arms around me, and started kissing me. I also clung to him, and we were lost in each other. Then we heard a clattering sound. Chirag was startled by the noise. We separated and started laughing. I was very happy to have Chirag's love. My life, which once felt like a burden, now felt like a flower, like clouds, like a wisp of cotton. I considered Chirag's arrival a miracle of nature. A year was about to pass since he came here, and I had blossomed after meeting him. Our whole life was now filled with joy. Please comment and let us know what you thought of this story. If you liked it, please like it and share it with your friends. For more exciting stories like this, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon.